Welcome everyone, and thank you for joining us here on the Infinite Prosperity Podcast. My name is Louisa Havers and I help high achievers, entrepreneurs and coaches lift the lid on life and business. And we have something very special for you, our listeners, today with a training that we did recently on the Clubhouse platform. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with Clubhouse, it is a social networking app where people create rooms and discuss a wide range of topics. And because it's delivered direct to your mobile device, you may notice a difference in audio quality, which we're hoping doesn't take away from your listening experience. What is important, of course, is the content that we're sharing. And I invite you to be intentional with what you wish to receive from listening today. How do you want to feel after you have listened to our session? For more information on how you can join us on future Clubhouse meetings with me, Louisa Havers, be sure to check out the show notes below. And we will see you in the Clubhouse. Welcome everybody. Welcome back to the Infinite Prosperity Podcast. I am so excited because today I have a very special guest. I have the incredible Glenda Barber with me. I'm going to just share Glenda's bio with you all so that you can get to see why I'm so excited that she has joined me today. So Glenda Barber is a sacred space coach, master hypnotist, creator of the Sacred Harmony Method, an advanced Helix Method mentor, Akashic Record consultant with the Soul Journeys Method, Reiki master and registered massage therapist and life coach. And Glenda's message is to help coaches, entrepreneurs and professionals to utilize their connection to their higher self and leverage this elevated vision to magnetize and increase their frequency. Yes, please. And this increases self-love, confidence, clarity, abundance and self-trust. This sacred connectedness energizes and becomes their compass, their North Star for their choices and roadmap to the life that they desire. Glenda's clients build a roadmap that is authentic, real, and tangible because they develop it from a place of spiritual connectedness with their higher self, creating a state of calm, connectedness that allows them to hear clear communication and harmony with their soul. Oh, this is just so powerful. I just absolutely love it. And Glenda has been through her own program and is living through these changes, which is how and why she's created the program that she's created. And her life purpose allows her to share with others with a desire for helping 10,000 other people to be experiencing this method of living with aligned actions towards a happier and more fulfilling life. Oh, Glenda, the work you do is so powerful, and I'm sure everyone can appreciate why I'm so excited to have you as a guest today. So a huge, huge welcome.
Thank you very much, Louisa. It's my honor. Appreciate it. Thank you.
And we have a topic today that I know is you're an expert on. Our topic is sacred harmony within. And I'm so excited to dive into this with you. I'd love to know, before we get started, and as a way of people getting to know you better, is what led you to setting up your business and doing the work that you do?
I got reintroduced to myself, is a good way to put it, on my journey when the C thing happened a few years ago. I've been fortunate to have 2 long-term businesses, and I'd gotten away from my soul connection with me. And I realized that when the C thing happened, I wasn't able to do that particular job, and I was self-employed, and I had been for over 20 years in that particular job. And I heard a coach speaking on a podcast, and I had never listened to a podcast in my life. So synchronicities lined up is a short way to put it. And I heard what I needed to hear. And I never heard this term before. Their program was finishing that day to closing to get started. And I listened, and I heard something I couldn't tell you now what it was, but my heart resonated, going, oh, I need to do that. So I often do things like that have proved 100% spot on. And when I listen to those niggles, they're usually 100% good. I get out of my own way, in other words, with fear. What led me to my own business was the beginning. It was a platform of coaches going together for their own personal development and growth. And the short of it would be, the bottom line behind it was spirituality. Or just as I've heard, we make reference to it in a different circle called your higher self. And I had, on that program a few years ago, got reconnected to what's important for me. And what's important for me is to make sure that if I take the time, calm down, do my meditations, do my morning routines, do the things that make me happy. And I've got clarity, I've got honesty, integrity all lined up so that the choices I make match that. So I knew that as a child. I knew that growing up. Even if it didn't fit around me, I'm getting to the point of, I have no other way to put it, but it was just, it's sounding out of my chest in such a positive way that if I can help one person learn some of the things that I had to learn, I say had to, chose to learn to make my world better, I became a really expert at what didn't work. So knowing what did work as well, you put check marks beside them with a gold star.
Yeah.
And so I've just lined up those particular things by learning myself through different ways, that how to put my gold stars in a line is so easy. I made it difficult because I chose to stay in the discombobulated part of life, thinking that, you struggle your way through because that's what I had learned. And that's not it at all. And I still go there because I still have to learn and come back on, on course. And I spent 20 some years following a compass in the woods and had to learn to trust it. So why wouldn't I trust what works inside? And I was very good at that. So now I'm becoming better and better and better, bigger and brighter at doing this here. Yeah.
I love how you were able to find your way through the pandemic and being able to completely shift how you're offering your services and meeting people's needs. And I think so many people will resonate with that, because so many people have had to get creative, adapt how they're offering their businesses, moving from being able to offer perhaps just locally to being able to recognize, actually, here's a time where we're being called forward to reach more people, and we can use the incredible technology that we've got to be able to do that. The fact that you're in Canada, I'm in the UK, is amazing that we can chat like this, isn't it? It's just
absolutely
incredible, absolutely incredible. And I love what you were saying around, being able to make decisions from that heart place. I know for me as well, when I make a decision from my heart, not from fear, it's always been the right one. And it's being able to really listen into that soft whisper of the heart, of the soul, as going, go this way, it's going to be okay, you're going to be safe, you're going to be fine. Whereas it's the loud, noisy voice of the ego that's like, creating that contraction and fear that can take people away from where they really want to go. And I know you're a master at this. What are, for our listeners, what would be perhaps, let's say, 3 tips that you can share with our listeners that would help them, from your expertise, help them move through places where they may be feeling stuck, or, they want to shift their thoughts and emotions so that they can have, as you describe it, that harmony within?
My first thing would be to really sink into themselves and take some quiet time. Even if it's 4 hours of silence one particular day, that might sound like a long time, or even if you've only got a minute or two, sink into that and just really see what's uncomfortable. And it's okay if it doesn't feel okay. That's the idea of looking into insights and finding, what affects that one thing in your life, or that one area in your life that you want to see brought forward, and try and just kind of go through your mind quietly and find, now, if I was a better this or that, then what's the thread that would bring everything else forward? Because how we show up somewhere is how okay, so the tip would be sitting quietly. If you have to, switch your thinking like a pattern interrupt, they would call it NLP. Simply just by breathing into it, sinking into yourself, looking where the tension is, feeling the feelings. If you don't know what they are, it's okay. You're shifting your perspective. If you want to, try to picture it almost like you're standing on top of a skyscraper and you're seeing out, you can see higher and above the trees instead of just on your local street. Try and bring that into your heart and see it from there. And then even if that isn't in your realm of possibility, think of elements of nature, what it is that makes you feel calm. And even don't stop there. Take that and expand it into your heart to really open it into being in love with yourself. If you've got the feeling and the vibration of just in the moment of taking that and going, with ease and breathing, and especially breath, coherence breathing would be another technique. Breathing in for 5, out for 5. When your heart and your brain come into coherence, that's where the magnifying of our amplification of our feelings comes from. So if I'm feeling sad, it's going to get more of that. But if I'm also sitting with ease of, to me, water, brings me into instant ease. I don't have to go down to the lake to see it, feel it, be it. I can sit here and my whole body, as I say it, makes me calm.
Yeah.
So purposefully being, your circumstances don't control how you feel. They're just a thing. It's the meaning we give it behind it. Our thoughts, we could take the same circumstances and perceive it different from the skyscraper because there's more choices. Go into love in your heart and you might start to see the possibilities where if we're feeling sad and heavy, we can't really change much from that same perspective. We have to elevate how we're thinking, feeling in order to see what might even be possible. So if that helps anybody, one little niggle, and then if it really helps to speak with other people, share that love inside you've got. If you're sharing it even unintentionally, it comes back to you tenfold. And then with that possibility, you open up. And as you open up, it's very humbling to say that, I say it with tears because it's so purposeful and so easy. If we taught, it is being taught in schools. I know I'm a little bit older, I'm not 20. When I was younger, mindfulness meditation wasn't taught in school. Now it is. And it's part of, our normal vocabulary now. And that's a beautiful thing.
Yes, the kids these days, I think, are so lucky in comparison to perhaps our generation growing up in schools where things were more punitive, weren't they, rather than really understanding people coming from all different aspects, honoring all different intelligences, and being able to create space for kids to have that mindfulness moment. I love it when I see like classes of children doing yoga and stuff. I'm like, that's incredible. I remember aged, I think we were about 4, and our sort of break time was rest time. They made us all go to sleep and put our heads on the table.
Me too.
And you got told off if your head was lifted up off that, off the table. It was like go to sleep, not have a moment to connect within and to listen to your heart. I mean, it's just very, very different now, isn't it? So wonderful. So, moments of silence, you were saying, being able to use those moments of silence to connect to that shift in perception, just creating that higher view, coming from that place of love and being able to bring in that heart coherence. I think is just such a powerful tip, because it is that moment you expand your vibration as you increase that coherence, as you were saying, between your heart and brain. And these tips are, I'm just summarizing them for everybody so they can make sure they've got them down, because there's so much wisdom in here. And then being able to speak with like-minded people. I agree, that's such a powerful tip. And one that's so relevant now with everything that's happened, with so much isolation that people have experienced as they've lived through the pandemic, and being able to really feel like, how can we have open conversations with like-minded people where we aren't going to be judged, whether we're whichever side of the fence we're on, whether you're standing for body autonomy or not, but being able to have conversations with people from a heart space, from us honoring the soul within.
It's absolutely necessary to have that inclusiveness, and it only brings us all forward. And like you say, we all rise together by doing so. And it reminds us to hopefully have unity in keeping a collective consciousness in mind about coming from the space of how can anything go wrong. It truly can't, if our motive is that. Checking your motive at the door is kind of how I call it. Is if I'm looking for gain in myself, well, then I need to just sit softly for a minute and kind of recheck it. When I was tiny, that was the way that we all lived life. And when I say tiny, and then life got in the way of, family just raising family. So yeah, I didn't know any differently. Bringing it forward, I got reconnected with somebody, and I guess it's okay to say that they passed over, and they brought with them back this vibrational energy of love that they shared with us on this retreat we'd attended some 30 years ago, but it stays with me. And I didn't know, Louisa, it was my benchmark about where I measure everything since. And it's never been the same since then. What I mean by that, so I know that it's an easy message, but if I can show somebody how to, do a morning routine, that they reconnect with themselves, and it is themselves, so they then choose the decisions from there to feel what's right for them. So I'm not doing anything to them or for them. I'm just being a guide to show them that. But it's an incredible thing when you put that together with the advanced Helix mentoring. You've gotten the system in place for us that has you hitting the ground running with the same mentality and modalities behind it. So what I knew in my heart, I didn't know how to bring to people. So I kept it quietly for me and just showed up in my own ways, purposefully. Like it's not a risk to show up to somebody who's passing. I don't mean to that. Not everybody would do that, but it's it's the same energy, same loving care. It's a thread of a ribbon of love, So now I'm doing it purposefully, and it's incredible how people resonate, and they just want to be affirmed and loved. So if you help them with a roadmap of how to develop it for themselves, if they really want it, I think I mentioned to you, it's just such a glory to see someone implement something so quickly, so fast, and see the responses on their face. So thank you for what you're teaching us and what you've taught us in the advanced mentoring. It gave me what I needed to just solidify what I wished to bring out. So thank you.
Oh, you're so welcome, and I'm so honored that you are one of the first advanced Helix Method mentors out there. It's been such an honor to share it with you, and as you were saying, I find it so exciting hearing all the wins and everyone sharing the results that their clients are having. It's been an honor to be able to celebrate with you. That's where the transformation happens with that inner work. We have to do the inner work, don't we, before we're going to start to see the results in our experience in life and what we're going to be attracting to us. And I know that you've got such a big heart and a big mission with wanting to help 10,000 people to be able to have that sacred harmony within. And I just love those words that your sacred harmony method, I feel like you really describe what people are wanting to be able to have that connection. Those words, sacred harmony, just ooze love to me.
I'm quite humbled. It is easier than we realize if we choose to. Well, no, if we want to. It's as simple as that. Like we were saying, how circumstances and our thoughts don't dictate how we feel. We can choose it, right? Yeah. It takes a wee bit of work, like you mentioned, to sink into your toes and change up exactly who you've been. But it's not that hard. This would probably be the easiest journey that I've ever taken, because it's fulfilling and it's one I desired. And guess who created the roadmap, right? Besides me and my higher self, every step I take, I can choose it again. And I think, how lucky are we to be able to do this for work? Yeah.
Oh, I know, such a blessing. What's your vision for your business? What's next?
Well, I said I'd like to help 10,000 people. I'm not retiring tomorrow. And so what's next is to show up in whatever capacity I can. And I will take that with me for as long as I can. Let's just say I'm a wee bit over 50, but that's an exaggeration. I'm a little bit more than that. And loving life. It makes me fulfilled. So my mission for my business is just to bring sacredness and connectedness to that roadmap that I can tangibly show someone how to create for themselves, how to embody that. Incredible. It's affordable, it's doable, and you can get there rather quickly if it's already something you're lining up to have. You'll find it, and if it's not for someone. So the next thing would be just to enjoy life, get outside, live it more balanced, and hopefully reflect that back out to other people to see the magnificence of how simple it can be. That your words are speaking mirrors and magnets. So you show up to other people, I only become better. And the roadmap is simple. It doesn't even take a compass to find. We have to sit. So my business will be a reflection of where I'm at, which is completely in growth and embodiment of being part of that sacred journey that I choose. And it's beautiful. It's how do you say, it fills me up. It does the heavy work. It makes my life full, enriches my heart. And I know it's not about me, but that's the mirror we speak about. We can show people how to show up for themselves, leave the heaviness behind if you choose. Not about having the monies to do it, as it is just the desire and the showing up Like it can be displayed in many ways that, time and money and loving ourselves are all the same energies. We just have to choose I'm saying choose from love, and you can't go wrong because it goes down that same road to any of those choices. It's the magnetism with lining up, spend time for yourself. You
Yeah.
have to, it just doesn't change. I can put on a different hat, but I'm not a different person,
Choose from love. That's so powerful. That really is.
And then there's unity, and we stick up and show up for other people around us. And as we change, we mentioned about that rising up, so as everybody, that's the commonality in the short time I've been doing the advanced Helix mentoring. I said, how are you doing? And the people are showing up where they're getting comments from other people to show the changes already. And it's not in their thought patterns initially, the way they're showing up in the being of how they live their life. The rest just comes. It's a lot easier than trying to be something we're not, because it shifts into being a belief. And our beliefs, well, like you say, we can choose what we believe. And that's what draws in our changes in life.
Yeah.
Show up. That's part of making a new identity for ourselves and creating the vibration. If I want love in my life, I'm going to then put it out to the world. I'm going to show somebody else how to walk that journey. And so my business is going to be nothing but fun.
Yes, love it.
It's not supposed to be like that, but this is the way this is.
Well, why can't business be fun, full of love and joy? I think that's just so beautiful. So beautiful. Yes. I think everybody would want to embody that as a mantra. My business is fun. And it doesn't feel like work.
It can still be disciplined. It can be a habitual. And those are some things I don't deny that I'm working on constantly, because would rather be out having fun, but it's not. I can still have fun doing it if I set it up that way.
Well, that's exactly it. It is. It's being able to work with, okay, these are the bits that I love focusing on. And actually now when I'm ready, I'm going to delegate those and hire in some help so people can work in their zones of genius and do the things that they love so that their business is fun. And the businesses are supporting each other as they are. I see it like an energetic infinity loop, as the energy is coming from one business to another, with everybody focusing on their zones of genius. Working in that collaboration is so powerful.
Well, and it's working with love. And that's the part of it. Silly as it sounds, I really truly mean it in bare essence, that if I am allowing the process to be supported, to receive love, I'm then opening up and allowing that and sharing, because somebody's got some smarts bigger than me. And that, like you said, they're going to make my life much more easy and enriched by knowing them. Allowing someone to help me was a huge thing for me, but that's okay. I'm grateful that I have, and that people have shown up.
Yeah.
And by doing that, then we open ourselves up to just that sharing I was speaking about, because unless we share it, we can't be it. We can stay over here in my own corner and say, I love. Sorry. that doesn't get you anywhere, and it keeps you onto yourself. And so growing exponentially happens when you bring in love. Yeah.
So true. Well, tell me, I'd love to know, because you've reflected on your journey. What one thing that's really sticks out to you that has changed your business or your life? If you were to kind of pull out a highlight, what would be that one thing?
Is to focus on expanding your heart. I come back to that fully. And then fast forward, it affects everything else completely. It affects how I interact with other people. They then hopefully are enriched with an opener heart. And I know we're not proper English, with a more open, embodiment of accepting that. And then it's a ripple effect out everywhere, so it's like, I can't stress enough how it changes everyone, and it changes the world, and it changes how we treat a planet, changes our attitude. And so let's come right back to brass tacks. So if I was stuck and was unhappy, or any of the niggles in that regard, I have choices now. And if someone didn't realize they had choices because of being stuck, frightened, whatever it is, they can learn differently. So what did I learn? That would be the one thing I'd bring forward to show everybody. And there's ways around all of it. And if I'm not that person, that's fine. We'll find the person. There's different difficulties that bring people to different places. And the ones that, have moved forward enough and have done some self-development, that are ready to pick up the next tool of clarity. As soon as you come into connectedness, you find clarity, self-confidence, self-love. And you build on those just a few more steps, and you have the confidence then to try new things.
Yeah.
It changes your set point inside from fear and into calm, into hopefulness, into then, wow, then look at the possibilities. You see things differently from that elevated perspective. And unless somebody sometimes can, again, we have to do it for ourselves. But unless you have someone to maybe understand where you're coming from and what that problem was like, I don't think people kind of get what anxiety can feel like on a deep level that's deep rooted. And I'm glad if they can't. That's lovely. Anyway, I'll stop. It would be to show somebody how to change that up for themselves.
Yes, yeah, that coming down into that heart space. I feel like that's something that when you really get it, when people really understand how being able to work energetically with your heart energy, and really understanding, like you were speaking around frequencies and vibrations, how by doing the simple things of having that connectedness that you're a complete ninja at, being able to help people unlock their subconscious so that they can really start to understand and have that awareness of what's been going on around them, how that really will change their life and how they can change things very, very quickly once they've learned all those techniques that you're an absolute master at. I know that you have a fabulous freebie for everybody who's listening. Tell us a little bit about this wonderful freebie.
Well, it's different methods in which you can hack your subconscious, which are similar to the ways we were speaking earlier. Just kind of sinking into yourself and changing up who we are with simple things. For example, like I say, go down to the water, or think about the water. And if you don't, then think about what it is that brings you joy. Even if you don't know, I have to bring it right back to even when I was younger. I didn't feel I knew what the feeling of unconditional love felt like. Somebody said to me X, Y, Z, and I was like, related because I had the love. Again, of course I knew, but I didn't know that I knew what unconditional love. So when someone brought the context of, well, would you have a pet? and unconditional love, even of a pet, if it gives someone a benchmark or something to spring from what that feels like inside, they'll then be able to find all the other little threads in their life where that resembles that. Then they have definition of what that is for themselves. So the hacks that are listed in the freebie are similar things. Just how to bring yourself into that resonance of having yourself feel better. And from feeling better, then we can elevate and redirect where our thoughts are, where we'd rather have them. And by choosing, once we're aware, to do it differently, then that changes everything. And it's subtle, but you line up a few of those small little changes, and all of a sudden you start to feel the differences, which are completely different from maybe perhaps what someone's been. So the small wins as well feel safe.
Yeah.
And as you've indicated, it's huge. You need to be, well, not need. If you choose to do little ones, they'll accumulate where, the subconscious and different parts of us that have kept us, safe from the saber-toothed tiger, aren't going to kick up a dust storm and keep you in the game. And I'm here to stay in the game with my life as best I can as I go forward for quality. So if I can show somebody, and I can, how to calmly do that going forward, energetically, mindfully, with hypnosis, through coaching, that's the important part. So like you say, it's not about me living in love every single moment of the day, even though it's beautiful. It's about going forward with some happiness, a little bit, turn up the meter and the dial in our life every day. Because like you say, if those are around me are going to be happy, I do.
Yes.
but we're going to achieve so much more for a happiness level in our life. And I think that's what I think ultimately we're here for. At least that's that's what I choose anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
So beautiful. So I highly recommend everyone grabs their freebie from Glenda. You can grab the link below the show notes, so we'll pop that in there so everyone can download that, the wisdom and those hacks to help them have that unlock their subconscious. Glenda, how can people stay in touch? How can they get in contact with you? Where do you hang out?
hang out. Well, I have a Facebook group, and it's attached to the link on the freebie.
Mhm.
And as well, they can reach me. Good question. I do know. As well, Glenda Barber will lead you. It's got all of my links on my personal Facebook page.
Okay.
It's got the links to the group that you might want to visit. You can pick up the freebie there as well as attached to the podcast. Thank you very much. And I'll be happy to speak with anybody who wants to at least just even find out a little bit more, instead of me being airy-fairy and talk about love, how you can actually bring that into a solid practice for yourself. That's all.
Yes. Yeah, that's so powerful. It is. It's being able to actually, what is the difference that's going to make in life? And you're the proof in the pudding, and your clients are as well. Thank you so much for coming on the show, Glenda, and for sharing all your message and the wisdom that Sacred Harmony Within can create for everybody. I just wanted to say thank you, everyone, for listening to us, our conversation today as well. We'll pop all the links that Glenda mentioned in below the show notes, so you can reach out and have a conversation with Glenda, and obviously claim your freebie. Alrighty, thank you everyone for joining us today. Thank you, Glenda, for being here. Looking forward to connecting with everybody again soon. If you have any ideas for future shows or topics that you'd love us to talk about, then please do message us at louisa@louisahavers.com. Until next time, sending you all lots and lots of love. Namaste. Thanks for listening to the Infinite Prosperity Podcast. And if you like what you've heard and want to know more, please go to louisahavers.com. We just appreciate you so much. So thank you for listening and hanging out with us. If there's anything that we can do for you, you can email us at louisa@louisahavers.com. Let my team know if you have any ideas for shows that you'd love to hear or topics you want me to talk about. Really looking forward to hearing from you. All right, that is it for this week, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us for today. Looking forward to connecting with you again. Until next time, namaste.